Up one game here in this best of 5. We're going to find out if Admirable is going to be able to battle back here, or if it's going to be a 2-0 lead, and maybe you're going to have to take a page out of Savjz and fucking go for the all-kill, reverse all-kill, man. But starting off, just going to keep that slam in hand, and interesting to see him keep on that Kodo. So he does hold on the Kodo. We see the Whirlwind coming out first. That's obviously just going to be passed. And I mean, starting with Unleash, Flare is always a pretty nice turn 1 play, and going to be able to have the River Crocodilus for turn 2 is quite nice as well.
Yeah, one of the things that's actually critical about this match is how important Kodo can be if your opponent has something like Acolyte of Pain out and they haven't drawn a card from it yet.
For sure.
You develop a 3/5 body, which is very difficult to deal with.
I mean, a lot of tools in Warrior deck are it's very good against.
Berserker sometimes, even Cruel Taskmasters if they've been used.
Yeah, and it works against a lot.
Right, and the 3/5 body is so difficult to deal with because it's not an ideal execute target.
Yeah.
It can't be core chronoleted. And at the same time, nobody wants to shield block, shield slam a Stampede Kodo.
Yeah.
Right, it's not a play.
Especially if it's already killed off a minion, it's already gotten value,
Right.
And what are you going to do? Whirlwind execute it? There's a lot of kind of tough decisions to make there. You do draw the execute, and I mean, with the Core Chron Elite there, are you just thinking, of perhaps just charging into that, keeping it alive that way?
Yeah, this is sort of like one of the key reasons this is in here, is because one of the reasons that this Beast Hunter deck plays cards like River Crocodilus is because they want to follow up with cards like Houndmaster.
So
that's exactly what this play is designed to prevent, is them being able to develop in that fashion. And me being able to respond to a big minion rather than having to be surprised by one. So not only do I get a 4/1 on the board, but I also get to take out that potential development.
Yeah, and a little bit of an awkward situation here for him, because how does he really effectively deal with this? I mean, you could kill command it or something, but you don't really want to do that. I mean, he's going to go for it and prevent the damage coming in. Not ideal for him, but a very, very high value Core Chron Elite there. So I mean, you get the kill command and you get the River Crocodilus just with the one card.
Right.
So very high value. Going to be able to draw that deadly shot. He could play the Kodo here, but I figured he wouldn't, because we talked about how many key cards there are for you to use the Kodo on. And now getting that Azure Drake out, quite nice. Especially, in conjunction with the Whirlwind and things like that. You can obviously buff up some of those spells. But I mean, are you thinking, okay, interesting.
Oh. Yeah, I remember when I saw this play.
So Leroy Unleashed.
This is a very strange play as far as I was concerned. But if you look at the context of his hand, he's got a Buzzard and an Unleash in it. So what he wants me to do is he actually wants me to play a minion here.
Oh, wow.
And then follow up with Buzzard and Unleash and be able to draw to cards like Savannah Highmane that are going to provide big threats. So, of course, when my opponent plays Leroy Jenkins and does this, I am befuddled by it, and
that is really surprising.
It's almost impossible for me to put together a range of cards that doesn't include Buzzard and Unleash at this point.
Oh, okay, well that's actually pretty smart. You're going to drop the Baron. Yeah, well played even. I mean, very smart play there, I think, denying that Unleash that he was trying to set up. So now having done that, I mean, did you know that that's what he was trying to do in the moment, or were you just...
I'm trying to put together a range of his cards because he hasn't really done anything. We've both just kind of been doing nothing back and forth.
Hero power.
Hero powers. So when he makes a play like that, it just screams out what his hand range is. So, and I can put together a hand range that is almost exactly Buzzard and Unleash every single time. I really don't have another play other than drop dead dead, because the rest of my plays don't allow me to use my mana efficiently.
Yeah, no, I think that was a perfect play in that situation. And now Harrison goes down, going to be dropping a Stone Dust Boar, see what he draws. 2 Timberwolves. I mean, he has a lot here that he can drop, and it'll be pretty interesting to see exactly how he's going to go about this. Draws the Flare now. Now, I mean, you could obviously play the Hyena and start kind of trading out, trying to buff it up a bit. You could just kill command that off. I mean, I'm kind of guessing he's going to kill command it, and he's going to go for the Flare, see what he has, but he still could coin kill command if he does want. Hunter's Mark, though, I think that's probably the better option. Yeah, you can just Hunter's Mark and then trade the Boar. That's pretty ideal. Very nice
Savannah
draw
Hymane is an extremely critical draw.
Yeah, that was such a good turn for him. I mean, being able to draw that Hunter's Mark, using that in conjunction with the Boar, so he's able to keep his kill command, and he doesn't really have to trade out anything that's too valuable. The Whirlwind, though, is set up quite nicely here. I mean, getting obviously the 2 armor from the Armorsmith, the card draw, being able to take that out. But at the same time, I mean, okay, Slam Whirlwind looks like that's going to be the play, but Cleave very strong as well. I mean, it seems like a bit of a risk to Cleave if we went for that, but I was assuming it was going to be the Whirlwind, and indeed it will. And even drawing the Shield Slam, but I mean, you're just deciding you want to kind of save that for a more powerful minion, maybe expecting the Savannah High Main to come out at some time?
Yeah, I don't feel like this is a threat at the point. And you notice I actually drew Black Knight in my hand. So I am hoping he Houndmasters here.
Okay.
So that way I can develop my Black Knight. Instead, it ends up being this combination of plays, which works out terribly for me.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit unlucky he doesn't have a Houndmaster in his hand, but to the same regard, I think if he thinks long enough about it, that he can put me somewhere in the neighborhood of that, and likely ends up making something very similar to that play anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are some plays here. Obviously, you can do the armor up, you know, you can kill it off with that and the shield slam. There's shield block as well as that as well. I mean, you could do that plus the cleave would get rid of the board. I'm kind of guessing you'll go with that, but I mean, Alex Straza is obviously a valid play as well. I mean, you could just Alex Straza his face and see where you go from there. So a number of pretty decent plays here. It'd be interesting. I'm interested to see what exactly you're going for. Like, you know, what were you thinking here? Were you kind of just thinking through, you know, a high HP Alex Straza is going to be worth it regardless, or were you thinking I need to get rid of this board and you know, kind of just go for the shield slam route?
Honestly, all of these things are on my mind at the moment.
Okay.
But when I settle on this Alex Straza, my thought process is this has already dealt him an extreme amount of damage at this point.
It's not going to be any better later in the game.
And this is a minion that needs to be killed.
Yep.
So I want to save on to my executes and my shield slams for when he does things like play Savannah High Main. And in that same regard, this Alex Straza, again, it has to be dealt with. We've already seen him use Deadly Shot. He's already used a kill command. I feel like it's pretty safe in all of its regards, but
I mean, kill command Croclisk, obviously, is a pretty nice
This is an extremely good turn for him. I think it's just a matter of how he kills this Alex Straza, because there's a lot of ways to do it, and all of them mean different things. So when he elects to use these minions here, instead of using a kill command, it sends me a second message as well, which is that he might not have a kill command in his end. And to that same regard, it also gets value out of minions that otherwise perhaps aren't very strong, and allows him to hang on to that kill command that he can use for direct damage later if he needs to kill another minion.
I mean, he could even theoretically unleash for that last damage, and I mean, imagine that's what he's going to do, because I don't think he wants to trade the Timberwolves, but perhaps wants to hang on to those. And I'm assuming he is just going to go for the one Hound Unleash and trade the boar plus the Croclisk plus that one Hound now, is my guess, seeing that he hasn't done that. But, you know, there are other options. You obviously can just trade. You could just trade the last Timberwolf. You could obviously go Savannah High Main plus, you know, a Steady Shot here. There are a lot of different options, but I mean, I'm really thinking, since he didn't use the kill command right away, he's got to be thinking Unleash for the one Hound. I mean, he is hesitating, but he has two in his hand, and that really only seems like what makes sense.
Right. So High Main, I don't think there's any question about that minion coming out this turn.
Yeah, for sure. It's just whether he does High Main plus Steady Shot and trades the Timberwolf, or he goes, you know, High Main, Unleash, and decides to trade that last.
Right.
And I mean, I'm still assuming it's going to be the Unleash, but he's obviously thinking about it. And these are some hard decisions. I mean, what do you think the big hesitation is for the High Main here? Because sure, you could execute it, but then he still gets the 2/2s. I mean, what is his hesitation on that High Main, you think?
I think there are a couple things he's considering.
Oh, kill command, okay.
The first one is whether or not I have Brawl.
Okay.
And I think that he's starting to put the pieces together.
Yep.
But I probably don't have Brawl in my deck because I'm playing Kit Katz's Warrior deck, and he knows that Kit Katz is my teammate. So I think that while this started, Brawl was certainly on his mind, but as he started to put the pieces together, he was like, overdeveloping is a better play here, because I don't even think he's running Brawl, and even if he is, I still can get something pretty good out of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unfortunate for him that I happen to have like all the answers in the world.
Oh no! Top deck the big game honor.
That beast is in my sights.
Yeah, pretty rough. And gonna be able to get the shield time on that as well, and then another execute. Very nice board clear, plus the cleave, and going to be able to pick off almost everything. So a very, very nice turn there. You know, I was surprised to see him use that kill command at the end of the day, you know, because he was hesitating on that so much, but obviously just, you know, taking his time, thinking it through. And I'm assuming he has to go with the Savannah High Main.
Yeah, Savannah High Main's absolutely the most critical card in Hunter versus Warrior matchups.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially at this point in the game. It's this late in the game, he really kind of needs to go for it. And, I mean, you know, if he didn't unleash one the last time, I don't see any reason why he would do it now, so it's got to just be a Steady Shot. But he could want to do one Unleash to trade it out with that, because I'm not sure if he wants to lose this Hyena. So, I mean, he is thinking about that. He is going to do the trade out because the Timberwolf buffs it to 2. He's going to be able to do that nice trade, keep his Timberwolf and the Hyena alive, and keep 11 damage on the board, plus his 2 from his Steady Shot. So, you know, he does have 13 damage on, like, you know, that you know of. And now at this point, you know, being at effectively 19 HP with the 1 armor, are you getting a little bit nervous? Are you thinking, what can he do that has 6 more damage? Because he hasn't played his Leroy, right? So it's, or no, he did. Wait.
Yeah, he's played his
Leroy. Yeah, he played his Leroy early on. So
he's also 2 kill commands are gone too.
Yeah. So are you thinking even though he could get you to 6 HP, are you thinking you're kind of safe? Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow. They're making the big moves.
So perhaps that answers your question.
Yeah. Oh no.
That's one's not that bad.
Well, because he does take the 2 damage away, so the hyena would be the worst.
Right.
I guess.
The problem is when something like this happens.
Oh, no.
So when he uses that unleash, it indicates to me that he's really running low on gas.
Yeah.
Because he's used 2 kill commands in Leroy at this point. His Houndmaster is such a huge top deck.
Yeah. And that's insane.
Now the question at this point, this is a huge turn for him because does he kill this? Does he kill this Ragnaros, or does he decide?
He's just going face. Okay.
Right. Or does he decide to split up the damage on his minions and rely on Ragnaros hitting 4 targets in order to finish this game?
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting choice. I mean, I would have expected him to Beastmaster the Savannah Highmane and then just trade that out and then have the battle cry. But that just puts a lot of pressure on you. The Black Knight is a very nice card in that situation, and having the shield block is going to be able to raise your HP quite a lot here. So you are at 14. He does have 12 damage theoretically there. You take out the Houndmaster, which is the better of the 2, I would imagine.
It takes 4 damage off the board instead of 2 damage.
Instead of 2 damage off the board, exactly. So, oh god, another Houndmaster.
Right. So then,
and then the unleash and the steady shot. So, I mean, he could bring you to 2 HP, and I mean, the unleash makes sense to me here because it's putting 2 kind of useless minions that Rag could shoot on the board.
Right.
So I'm assuming that he would go for that, but he's thinking about it, and I mean, he's seeing, he's just mousing over. He's seeing how many cards you have. 4 cards in your hand, Knights are on the deck. He decides to go for it. Makes sense to me. And it's just kind of giving those buffer targets to the Ragnaros, which I think is a smart play. And now, I mean, there's like what do you even do in this situation? I mean, Faceless Manipulator on the Savannah Highmane seems like a decent play, but at the same time,
it's a really huge play.
You could also just go like YOLO and just faceless your Rag.
I also have the Cruel Taskmaster and the Execute as well. So not only do I get to kill this 8/7, I get to make a copy of it, and I get to armor up. So the Execute actually sort of the MVP draw in this scenario.
Nice draw here.
And then at this point, if you take a look at the board, once I kill this 4/3, he can't push through this Highmane at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as you keep armoring up, his steady shots can't kill you.
If you look at this turn, he has to kill me this turn or he's absolutely dead.
Yep. Yeah, so that was a very nice draw there. Hunter's Mark comes out. I mean,
that's going to be game because Hunter's Mark deals 1 billion damage.
Wow.
4 points of damage.
The top deck, man. The top deck. This is the game of top decks, man. Back and forth.
Yeah, that one. I remember that one. If I had remembered his deck list correctly.